Today's an exciting day, as we're going to be beginning here Shar HaKudim. Shar HaKudim is the beginning of the formation of Kalim. We wanted to see how creation works, from the ears of Ak to the nose of Ak to the mouth of Ak, and how this is developing. So we're going to start on page 25 as Kaf Hey in the Otzos Chaim. We're going to come over here. We're going to see Perek Aleph. We're going to read the top part. Then we're going to come around and read the light print in the Tiv, who's going to go over the basic ideas again and bring in some new ideas, try to keep pushing it along so that we can find an easy way to understand this concept. So it begins like this, Perek Aleph. Fa'achar kach, that is, after we have lights coming out of the ears and the nose, Bo l'tamim atachton shebetachas ha'oisius. Now these are the tamim, the same tamim that we read in the Torah. Same kind of thing, the same kind of pattern. So these are now lights that are going to come out of the mouth of Ak. Shal Adam Kadmon Misham V'Luchutz, from that mouth and going outwards. But now the lights are not going to be split into two different sides, like the right ear, right nose, left nose. They're going to all come out of one place, which is this is only one mouth. So he says, they come only through one channel. So what's the reason? So all the more that they're spread and they start to go downwards, so then they become more physical. And as a result of that, it's easier to reach them, to appreciate them, and to be able to receive those lights. Now, we have to understand that this tremendous light of the Ein Sof, we'll say it over and over again, is just for us to be able to receive it, it has to become minimized. It has to become minimalized. This is called ismatus, making it smaller, making it more physical. So therefore we're not worried if you're going to have the lights joined together again. So now these lights are mixing inside of this one channel, which is in the mouth, and they're in there together. Because of the fact that they're interacting, this interaction causes the beginning of Kalim. That they are very, very refined. They're almost nothing. They are so close to not being anything, but they are some physical entity. They were so ultimately refined, commotion is bar, as we're going to get, as we are going to explain. So therefore we're only going to be talking here about one kli. So in other words, to make more kalim, which we'll get into when you get to the next shar, which is the shar of Nikudim, then we're going to start seeing how that there are more than one kli. But here we have only one kli that's possible to be able to make out of the mouth of Ak. Now here's a kli. What's inside of the kli are lights. But the lights themselves have 10 different compartments, let's say. There's 10 different lights inside of this one kli. Now these lights are called akudim, because the idea is that they're bound together. Akudim, akud, la'akud, the arcade is like the Akedah of Yitzchak. It's bound together. They're bound together. There's an entity inside this one kli of 10 parts. Let's go back to 25, and let's see what comes over here. So after the upper tamim came out of the nose, so what happened to them? They came to the nose and they spread down like here. And they came to the shavolas, that is the bottom of the chin, somewhere in the chin area. So he says after that happened, so there's another set of tamim that are in the middle. So they come out of the nose and they go straight down until they reach the chest. Now all of these places are significant, so it's important to understand these slight references. So now the light continues to move downwards, and what is called the tamim atachtonim, shetachas ha'osius, So these are the concept of letters. So let me see, just say, these are the letters, these are the tamim, that is the musical sound of some sort, some musical sound like a note perhaps. This, I'm not sure exactly what the difference between is the note and the sound of a note. This is different. The note is something very abstract, much more abstract. The sound of it is like a nikud, is like the sound that it makes. That's something else. So he says these are tamim, they're underneath the letters. So we said before that they never met. The lights of the right ear and the left ear, the right nose, the left nose, they never met, and as a result of the fact, they didn't make kalim. Now he says there's two reasons why they never met. So the first one shehem oros gavochim v'neholomim v'lochoisebechem hischalkos losa oros, because they are so refined and so nothing. So in our language, they're so little, there's so nothing there, that they can't be divided up into 10 different forms. They can't be divided up. And since the lights are so not there, there's nothing that could really hold them. So therefore, it's not shaykh to them to have an aspect of a kli, shuhu or avagas, because we understand what's the nature of a kli. A kli is a light that's going to be thicker. And he's going to go into this in Shara Kudim. We start to understand the difference between different kinds of lights. There are lights that are more thick than other lights. They're not all the same. What's the second reason? So what do the kalims come? How do they come about? Is that the oros and makifim, which normally come from the right side, should be yamin pogim ba'oros benimim, should be small, and the lights, the interior lights called the benimim, are on the left. They strike each other. They hit each other. Small, because when we're talking about the lights that are coming out of the ears, well, they're on two different sides of the face of Ak, and so they're far away from each other. We're not saying that they're trying to meet. So he says of a Ramozin small, Shehem Rechokim Zemezeh, so therefore Merchat Godel, they're very far away from each other. Small, so they also come out of the right nose and the right nostril and the left nostril. That there's a wall between them. So they don't actually join together as one. So since they never come together, they don't make vessels. And the reason why, again, is because if they don't come together, they will strike each other. If they don't strike each other, which we will get into this concept in some detail in Shara Kudim, so therefore they don't strike each other. But here in the mouth, where there's only one channel, as he said, as the Rav said, there's only one bechina of kli, so there's going to be a kli here because of two reasons. One reason is because it's coming from a lower place, much lower than the place of the ears and the place of the nose, because those places are so high and so refined that there's almost nothing there. But over here now, you're back into the mouth, and the oros are going to be thicker. So therefore, inside of the mouth, and remember we went through the whole thing about, which we will continue to do, about the Dalet part of the hay and the Vav part of the hay, and we went through all of those different things. Those are different called chilukim, but they're not complete chilukim into 10 because the Dalet is never mechulak, is never divided up. Because of the fact that they're lower lights. Hem kululim or zak or av gas. So they have two different natures to the lights that's there. There's a light which is extremely refined, and there's a light which is more thick. So we're going to see how this is made, and the lights of the that are more thick are going to become kalim. As we are going to explain, and that's a big part of this shar. The second reason why you have this kalim appearing here He shehaoras hamekifim shebiyamim apeh v'abenim ish small apeh. Looking at the mouth, the mouth has a right side of the mouth and a left side of the mouth. So these two different kinds of lights are on the right side and the left. And the yatsu yachta, but when they come out of the mouth, there's only one opening. So they only come out together. There's only one opening there. There's only one hole. So the lights have to come out together. As a result of that, they're struggling between each other. I'll use that word. That's my word. But you say they strike each other. So it's very interesting. This is a lesson for a life lesson. The people that you struggle with, you're actually creating something if you have the right attitude. So he said, so it's very interesting in astrology. If you know something about if you know something about ascendants or rising signs, is to say that the rising sign of a person's particular rising sign is that the seventh house over there from the rising sign is your natural enemy. And who we say your natural enemy is that it's your mate, it's your wife. It doesn't have to be your wife; it could be your chavrusa. But let's say the idea is that enemies, this kind of enemy relationship, is actually the relationship that reproduces. It's very interesting, but that's a sidelight. But so let's go to the next one, the next light print on number Bay. Number base. He says, So the fact that the lights of the mouth and the lights, and let me see, so why is it only those lights come out and make kalim, that is from the mouth, below the mala misham and not up above them? Why do you make kalim for the ears? We're going back over this idea again. Why does the light for the ears or the nose make kalim? Umishum shemin or ha'ein sof shebechutz of a lachalo hatzimtzum, from the light of the Ein Sof going outwards, going out to the lachalo hatzimtzum, to the empty place where the tzimtzum is, nimshach chut Ein Sof el toch hachalo. So that we said before, going back to Shara Gilgulim, that there is a line like a thread of the Ein Sof that comes into this place where there is no light. And remember that, as we know, is that the light is closer to the beginning of where it comes into the chalal. Then the closer you are to the entrance, then the more hidden the light is, and the harder it is to be able to reach it or perceive it. But then if we going back to that idea, as the light continues to go down and it gets further away from the beginning where the thread enter the challah, after the chasigu yosis, and then you could see it more. His pashtus or lamato hu misavet. So this is a rule: as the light goes down further away from it, the incipience of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, as you get further away from it, it gets thicker. So therefore, as it gets thicker, it's not hidden so much, called kach b'charaso, as it shines out. So therefore, when we talk about the same, that situation is describing this situation. So as we start surrounding this chut, this thing, as we see where the chut begins, and we start looking at it a little bit differently, as we start to see where the chut begins, that's going to be closer to the Ein Sof. It's going to be very hard to appreciate anything that's there. But as it gets further away, let me see, keep his pashas or lamata humisabe. As the light starts going down, it gets thicker. So therefore, it's not hidden so much. So therefore, the lights of the ears and the nose, which are extremely refined lights, that it's impossible to actually see them, appreciate them, and reach them. Then they won't have kalim associated with it, something that actually holds or limits this light. What's the reason for making a kli? It's so that the light could be clothed, so that light could be inside of it and held there. And as a result of having a place where it's held, that it's possible to reach it and to be able to appreciate it. So therefore we see also, but the fact is That's Akbin's butt. But the fact is that since the lights of the Chotem and the Ozin are impossible to reach, because they're so high, they're so close to the Ein Sof and so nothing, so therefore therefore there's no need for a Kli. The Kli is not made. And because of the Kli, how is it made? Once again, by the striking of the Or Maki for the Or Panimi. So therefore, they make a Kli. So therefore, they come for the lights of the Ozin and the lights of the nose. They're going to be far away from each other, and as a result of that, they won't meet. And the Eibishter did this, so there shouldn't be a Kli by them, because this is not something that we're going to reach. How would they be able to make a Kli? They make the Kli as a result of striking each other. But here now in the lights of the mouth, the lights that are in the mouth, that it's possible to reach there. So therefore the light is thicker at that place, and therefore it's going to make itself into a Kli. So therefore these two opposite type lights, one from the right, one from the left, are going to be moving together. They're becoming out of the mouth together. In order to be able to make a vessel for the lights of the mouth. But even so, when you have this mixture, it doesn't make 10 specific kalim. Ella kli echad kol oros, but only one kli, and in that kli are going to be 10 different lights. Let's go to number Gimel. We have a Gimel, we have a Dalet. So let's see what this is. So the light print on page Ku, page Kaf Vav. So since they're all both coming out of only one opening, they don't come out of two openings, like the lights of the ears and the nose. So therefore in the mouth, now we start to see the aspect of kalim. So he wants to say it's an aspect of kalim. So you see this word in Kabbalah and Hasidus a lot, this word bechinas. So bechina means, well, you can't put your finger on it because it's not something that you could actually touch and feel. It's not physical. So therefore, it's an aspect of that. It's something that comes preliminary. We have a tendency to think that something is bigger, taller, stronger, is really greater. But actually, what we see over here is the opposite. Is that the greatness is nothing. The greatness, the ultimate greatness, is not anything we could possibly understand because it's so nothing. But on the other hand, here we see that kalim, we want to talk about a bechina of a kli. It's not a kli like a pitcher of water. It's not like that. Below kalim mamish, it's not really kli, a kli. L'lamdeinu shachagam shachakalim heim oros avim v'gazim. So now he says, whereas we see over here, when we use the word kalim, we mean a different kind of light. That is a light that's thicker and more physical. Ein hagavana sheyesh bechem chas v'sholem obvious v'gazes mamish. We don't want to say that they actually have some physicality to them. They're way far away from physicality. Elachem mezakechim betaklis zikuch mamish. They are ultimately, completely, and totally refined of physicality. Rak shebe'erech or hazak shalamala mehem. So the only thing is like there's a concept in Kabbalah. He says that everything goes be'erchin. Erchin means relativity. Everything is relative. Since we can't really see it, so that we have to use the right side of our brains to be able to make a what's a metaphor, metaphora, to make a metaphor out of this. Make it possible for us to be able to compare things one to the next, and then we have an understanding, and the light starts to come into us. Because once again, when you're taking and you're comparing one thing to another, right? So that's also opposites or different kinds of things that don't go together, but you make a vessel to be able to hold these ideas. But the light in the mouth, which is really not really physical, but there has qualities to it that are more thick and more spiritual. So therefore, we could say that it's a kli. So then, as we see it, that we can start saying that there are lights which are thicker and more physical. One more, so we're going to do the light print on number Dalet. He says, Ha'orot sheyatza mechapen, now the lights that come out of the mouth, hey Masara, there are actually 10 lights. Now we said there's one kli, 10 lights. Shehem eser madregos shel or hasphiros, there are 10 different levels of the lights, which are called spheros. Now I don't know if he's going to say this over here, and the question is, what does spheros mean? So a lot of times I always thought that spheros was like the word sphere, which meant, which means something circular. But spheros apparently is more closely related to the word sapphire. So sapphire is something like, which is glows, or something really beautiful, something that we have a concept that it's either the spheres of oros or the spheres of kalim, or different kinds of things like this, but they are glowing kind of ideas. When we talk about the lights now, and they're going to be, as we either look at it in one of two ways, and I want to introduce this early on in our limud, there's one of two ways to look at it, and the Rav almost always uses one way, and that is from top to bottom. So that the most uppermost light is called the light of Keser. And he said, "V'chine orcha Keser hu or mezukok beyoser." It is the most refined, the least physical of all the lights. Orcha chachma hu avemenu. So then the light of Chachma is going to be a little bit thicker than that. And as the lights of these spheros become thicker, ad or hamalchus, until you get to the or which is called malchus, shuhu yoser av shalov, it is the lowest of them, and as a result of that, it's thicker than all the rest. So now, when we have the lights inside the mouth, his kilo havayas kalim, so we have the beginning of making kalim, shebechem yekansu v'yislav shukosora oros, that into that kli is going to come in all these 10 different types of lights, hanizkarim, v'nishavo kli echad, and as a result of that, you'll have the concept of light that can go into another light. You have a light which is thicker and a light which is more transparent, and as a result of that, you're going to make a light inside of a kli. So he's described the lights. The lights are 10 lights. So the lights go from Keser down to Malchus. The kli is only one kli. So you see that what's happening in the mouth, there are 2 different tikkunim. What's a tikkun? Tikkun is a rebuilding or building. It's building something. A tikkun, the echod, who's the one tikkun, shemetekila or ha'ozen koyin the elam or hey bilvad. So in the ear, the light that comes out of the ear. So there is only, you could see one concept, and that's the concept of a letter, which is the letter Hey. So over there in the nose, we see that there are 6 lights from the leg of the Hey. We can see that there's a Vav there. The Vav is a 6. We saw before that it said that there were 6 olives that could be seen over there. Because there's it's like say you have a hay and there's this glowing vav over there with 6 little parts inside of it, you can see it. So now we're in the mouth. Now you have a complete 10 lights there. So first you had only one light, which was a hay. Then you had to infer that there were the possibility of 10 there. Then you have actually the vav revealed in the nose, and now you're in the mouth, and you have only the hay. Because now, after this bright shining dalet is out there, you can see it. So that's the first tikkun. The second one is that these lights that now you can see, there's a 6 and there's a 4, which makes 10. They actually find their way into a kli. So he says, whereas we see that there are 10 lights which are different, that is the lights of the Vav and the lights of the Dalet, and they're all there together, but they don't have a kli for each one of them. There's only one kli, and these lights now go into that one kli. Lefichach oris hapeh nekroyim b'shem akudim. So therefore, the lights that are in the mouth are called by the name of akudim. What's akudim? Name Kamushana Emar v'Yakod as Yitzchak beno, that he bound up Yitzchak. So what's going to happen is now these lights are all going to be bound inside of this one kli. Shuhu lashon kashira. It's the concept of tying, putting things together. Behind the shachasara oros kulam kashurin, that all of these lights are tied together, bound together. Yachtav b'so kli echad ukod l'kaman, as we are going to explain as we go along. So thank you very much, and you have now the skills of listening to the first shir in Shar HaKudem.